Hey there, good morning wherever you are. And hi there. Um, I'm this weekend I'm having a weekend off from drawing and from making art and from my YouTube channel. And I didn't even want to film any clips, but I did anyways. And I'm not going to place them because I think, well, if it's a free weekend, then I'm not going to place it. But I have a little, sort of a little challenge for myself, and it has nothing really to do with making art or with the way I make art or what I want to do with that, but it has something to do with consciousness and the way I treat myself from having gained some consciousness. And I want to give a little explanation about that because, um, it's like when people have Satori, or when people, like people that have Satori, like laughing Buddhas, there are people that are in a constant state of Satori. They just laugh about everything because they really totally see through all the bullshit, and that nothing really ever really matters, really. So they laugh about everything, and they see everything within laughter because they know that everything is nonsense, essentially. And it might sound strange, but most people that go through a phase where they come to total consciousness, or come to their totality or being complete, start to understand through experience that everything is essentially nonsense. So that makes it really easy to start doing all sorts of stuff that really seems like really unconscious. Like there's all these stories about people that have come to insight and that start drinking alcohol or start having sex with all sorts of women just because they know that all is essentially bullshit. And in sort of a way, I experienced that too. I've always tried to be conscious about what I eat and the way I eat. And at a certain point, I knew that I was an alcoholic, and or was drinking too much alcohol every day, and I didn't want that anymore. So I quit drinking alcohol altogether. And now like a couple of months ago, I've had this experience where I started to change and my whole life started to shift into something else. And I saw through the fact that everything is not really important, just as I am not really important, and all is really not important. And because I see through the fact that everything is not important, then being conscious about what you eat is in sort of a way unimportant too. And being healthy or eating healthy is unimportant too. And that makes things real easy, right? Because when you feel sick, you know that it's unimportant, so you don't make it important, so it's not really bothering you that much. You don't get bothered by feeling sick, and you don't get bothered by the fact that you drink alcohol and that you know that you would love to drink more, but you just don't because it's not really that important anymore. So it makes it easier to do things, but it also means that all the rules, all the so-called rules of social life, get to the background and don't mean anything anymore. And so I've been doing whatever the fuck I wanted this last couple of months, and it's been nice and it's been fun and it's been an adventure. And now I think, well, okay, so I have this consciousness where I know that everything is unimportant, and what am I going to do with my life? Because if everything is unimportant, then I can still choose to eat healthy foods, and I can still choose to be living a life where I conduct myself to certain applied rules if I want to. I mean, it's not really 100% necessary, but I can do it if I want to. And and it can also be a challenge that you really know that everything is unimportant, and at the same time you realize that eating meat contains eating something that has been a living animal with a soul that has been killed for it. So how do you go about that, right? You know that you're complete. You know that everything is bullshit, essentially. And at the same time, there's all these so-called universal laws or things that are important in life that are really unimportant. And what do you do with that? How do you go about that if you know that everything is unimportant? So I want to challenge myself in that department. Can I be conscious about what I eat, about the way I live, and about the way I conduct myself in the world, even though I know that everything essentially is totally unimportant? Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I still eat healthy if I know that health is unimportant? Can I be somewhat socially acceptable if I know that being socially acceptable is bullshit? Can I sit on a pillow and give myself dough-in grips like these or these, and be more relaxed and balanced if I know that balance is really unimportant? That balance is just something that goes up the one time and goes down the other time, and just does what it does anyways. Can I still be balanced if I know that? Can I be conscious? Can I be conscious about eating healthy foods? Right? Because really being happy really means, for the majority part, it means that you know that it's all bullshit, right? Like the real masters, they laugh about almost everything people do and think that is important, because they realize to themselves that it's really not important at all. Really not at all. It's not important. No. If you think war and no war is unimportant, or is important, then a master really laughs because he knows it's unimportant. And if he starts saying it's important and starts to get aggravated about it, then he's probably not a master. Most definitely not a master. While at the same time, a master knows that war is insanity, right? So, but that. If I go into that topic, it becomes so paradoxical that most people won't understand, probably. How can you say war is unimportant, or no war is unimportant, when people get killed over it, right? How can someone laugh about that? And it's not that I don't really understand what it means, because my grandmother has been in some of the harshest experiences containing war, and she had been insane the rest of her life because of it. So it's not that I don't know the the terrors of war, right? Or the terrors of things that happen in the world. It's not that I'm not conscious about that. It's just that I've come to realization that everything is essentially unimportant. And I am unimportant too. And when I start thinking that I am important, or that the world is important, or that everything we do is important, then I start aggravating the shit about everything. If I make a mistake, I'll be ashamed about myself because I'm so important. But I'm really not. I'm just a speck of dust in the whole cosmos, so I'm really not important at all. Really not at all. And some of those monks in the Buddhist countries know that too, right? I've read this book about Buddhism, and there was this Buddhist monk that he had realized himself totally, and he had all sorts of students that didn't really at all understand his teachings. And at one point he was old enough to die, and he just said to his students, well, have you ever seen anybody die standing on his hat? And they all said no, and he went and stood on his hat, and he died at the same time. He just died, and he flabbergasted them off the roof. They were so shocked by it that most probably one of them started to understand that life is really unimportant. So maybe I'll challenge myself and try to be more conscious about what I eat, while I really know that everything is totally unimportant. And maybe I'll place this one on YouTube, just for a little comparison to myself when I look it back, like in a year from now, if I have done it, or that I just kept on going and have had a fun-filled times and been doing whatever the fuck I want because I know everything is unimportant, right? Could happen easily. Like, that's the fun part about realization, right? The total realization that that all the applied rules are really no rules at all. Not at all. Not at all. So there you have it. That's the challenge I'm giving myself. That's what I'm going to be trying or committing myself to. Just a little bit of commitment wouldn't hurt nothing, right? Even though everything is just what it is. Thank you.